Could we talk playoffs really quickly?
Yep.
What are the games that appeal to you the most?
Well, obviously the Detroit LA storyline is unbelievable. It's Matthew Stafford getting to go back into Ford Field. And like how beloved he is in Detroit. I have a lot of family from Detroit. That I would say very few people in Detroit hold anything that happened 3 years ago against Matthew Stafford. He's still wildly popular there. So him going back in there and getting to play against the Lions, Jared Goff getting to play against Sean McVay, that to me is the juiciest one. I'm really interested in the game that probably nobody's interested in, which is Houston Cleveland.
Oh, I am.
I love that game because I think what Kevin Stefanski and that staff has done is spectacular. To win with 4 different quarterbacks, to win with their 4th and 5th offensive tackles in a day and age when, people can't find a 6th offensive lineman for their roster, to win with their 4th and 5th safeties. A couple of weeks ago, they won a game with Amari Cooper down. Like they just, over and over and over again have answered every question. And so now they're going into Houston, and on the other side, you got this Texans team where, I can't remember, guys. Can you remember a time when people were so completely down and a franchise was as dead as the Texans were a year ago to now? Like, I don't know that there are 5 teams you'd rather be, but like five situations you'd rather be in than the Texans situation over the next 10 years with DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud, So we get like these two kind of converging, these two new entities, for the playoffs converging. I'm really, really excited for that one because I think, we'll get to see CJ Stroud on that stage, and they've been really entertaining to watch. And then the whole storyline of the Browns, I think, is fascinating. So those are the two. And then I think, you have, the Ravens and the Niners as the clear-cut 1 seeds in their conferences. And, I think there's pressure on both teams to win. Man, wouldn't that be cool to see those 2 teams going head-to-head in Vegas and in 4.5 weeks? And, maybe the Harbaugh family has another nice night coming.
2 questions for you about the Chiefs. One is, do you expect to see more of the Chiefs we have come to expect over the last several years when the playoffs start? And 2, do you give any credence to the gentle flow of some rumors about Andy Reid again, considering that this may be his last season?
So on the first one, this Chiefs team reminds me a little bit of a team I covered, the 2006 Patriots, where and Suzy, you may remember this. They let David Givens go in free agency. They traded Deion Branch before the season, and they'd invested in their offensive line and defense, but that was Brady's 7th year, and it was just sort of like, Tom, go figure it out. And it wound up costing them in the playoffs, and their reaction the next year was to go get Randy Moss, Wes Welker, Dante Stallworth, and go undefeated. I sort of feel like that's what's happened with the Chiefs, where it's like you traded Tyreek Hill, and now Travis Kelce has gotten old. And I don't think Travis Kelce is the same player he's been. And so, now they're sort of in this Patrick go figure it out situation with Patrick, like Tom, in his 7th year. And is it going to be enough? And I think that's sort of where they are going into the playoffs. I think, if they aren't able to win, it could lead to them getting really aggressive the way those Patriots did after the 2006 season. And I think a lot of it's going to come down to, are they willing to adjust their formula? And I think you saw them do this subtly towards the end of the year, where they started to rely on Isaiah Pacheco a little bit more and lean on their defense a little bit more. So I think as far as the here and now goes, it's really about, can they reconfigure their formula or not? And when it gets hot, like when it's really, when you're down or where things are tight in a playoff game, can you lean on a different formula? That's number one. And then as far as the long-term part of it, I think how the playoffs go is going to affect whether or not they get really, really aggressive in the offseason in putting skill talent around Patrick Mahomes, because there is talent on that roster. It's still a really good roster, but as far as the skill player thing goes, they've sort of made the conscious decision. We're going to let Patrick figure this out.
Check out new episodes of What the Football with Suzy Shuster and Amy Trask every Tuesday. Watch us on the Rich Eisen Show YouTube page or follow and listen wherever you get your podcasts.